Number 33, worksheet A. The topic for this scenario is the completion time of athletic race A. And the research question is, what is the population mean completion time of athletic race A? And the hypothesis now, which is the claim, saying, well, okay, the population mean time of athletic race A is less than 40 minutes. So it means less than 40 minutes. Now, this hypothesis has to be tested. It has to be proven to be true or not. So the objective now is to analyze the population completion time of athletic race A. The following table contains the completion times in minutes of a race of 85 athletes. So the data collected and organized into an interval distribution is to see if the population mean time is truly less than 40 minutes through the use of a cumulative frequency graph and a box and whiskers diagram. Here's the data that has been collected and organized into an interval table. Now, part A now says, after completing the above table, construct a cumulative frequency graph for the values given in the table. To do that, to get assistance, you can go to week 3, page 7 and 8. Okay, go to classwork, go to week 3, page 7 and 8. This is week 3. Week 3 is on representation of data. For number 32, we talked about the box plot. Here is the information for the cumulative frequency graph. Here are the starting from page 7. Here it is. You can go to this YouTube. You'll get assistance there. And you have 3 online graph generators that you can use to assist you to construct that graph. Now remember that statistics begins with the collection of data. Another word for collect is to obtain, using a questionnaire. After you collect the data, you have to organize the data. Another word for organization of data is to present the data, make it presentable by using tables. Tables might not be sufficient for you to be able to test that hypothesis, because the tables come with a whole bunch of numbers and you might not see whether, you might not be convinced if it's to decide or conclude with your claim, right? Remember, we want to see whether or not that the mean is less than 40. So you may have to represent the data again. That means to present it again, represent using a diagram. So in this case, we are going to use a cumulative frequency graph and a box plot. And then you can analyze the data. That means you got to make calculations on the data, because bear in mind, to construct the cumulative frequency graph, you have to make calculations. To construct the box and whiskers diagram, you have to make calculations called descriptive measures, called statistics. For the box plot, we use the lowest value, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the highest value. All these are descriptive measures. All these are statistics that comes on analysis. And then you can decide either to reject or do not reject the null hypothesis. And then you conclude with either the null or the alternative hypothesis. Now bear in mind the claim in this scenario, the hypothesis. It says that the population mean time, completion time of athletic race A is less than 40 minutes. We need to verify whether this claim is true with the use or with the help of a cumulative frequency graph. In week 3, page 7, it says To construct and analyze a cumulative frequency graph, you can follow these steps. First, ensure that the data is organized into an interval table. Second, create a less than column or less than row with all the boundaries. 3, cumulate the frequency. 4, on graph paper, draw a horizontal and vertical axis. 5, on the horizontal axis, design a scale to accommodate the boundaries, which is the variable, the data. 6, on the vertical axis, design a scale to accommodate the cumulative frequencies. Using the boundaries as x coordinates and the cumulative frequencies as y coordinates, plot the points, join the points freehand to create the ogive or the cumulative frequency graph. And here you have an example. As you can see, here is the data in the form of an interval table. It's about the ages of some students. And here is the cumulative frequency table. Here's the less than column with the rows, with the boundaries, sorry. 15 is the lowest boundary, that's why you have less than 15. Then you have 20, followed by 20, less than 20, followed by 25, less than 25, 35, 45, etc. As you can see. Now the cumulative frequency, you've got a cumulative frequency, less than 15. How many students were less than 15 years? None of them, 0. But how many were less than 20? You would take that 0, add it to the 14 to get 14. How many were less than 25? You will take that 14 and add it to the 5 to get 19. How many were less than 35? You will take that 19 and add it to the 9 to get 28. Less than 45, take that 28, add it to the 2 to get 30. And then create points using the boundaries as the x coordinates and the cumulative frequency as the y coordinates. And then these points have to be plotted on the x and y axis. On the x axis, you've got the boundaries which represent the ages. So the data comes on the x axis. On the vertical axis, you've got the cumulative frequency. And these points were plotted and was joined with a line using your freehand. And this is an example of the cumulative frequency graph, according to week 3, page 7 and onwards. Now, apart from what we just discussed in week 3, page 7 to 8, you can also go to the Google Classroom TR6 E2WI to get recordings on how to construct a box and whisk, cumulative frequency graph. Okay. So we're going to apply this now to our example. Our data come in an interval distribution, but in rows. The first interval is 15 to 25. First frequency is 5. 5 athletes completed between 15 and 25. 20 between 25 and 40. 50 between 40 and 50. And 10 between 50 and 75. So now we have the less than row, starting with less than 15, less than 25, less than 40, less than 50, less than 75. You got to use all the boundaries to create the less than column or row. And then you cumulate the frequency. How many athletes completed between less than 15 minutes? None of them. How many completed in less than 25 minutes? Is the 0 plus the 5. That is 5. As you can see, less than 40, it will be the 5 plus the 20. 25. Less than 50, as you can see, is that 25 that you got previously. Added to the 50 to get 75. Less than 75, you take that 75 and add it to the 10 to get 85. Then you create points. The x coordinate will be the less than, the y coordinate will be the cumulative frequency, 15, 0, x, y, 25, 5, as you can see, 25, 5, 40, 25, 50, 75, 75, 85. These are the points. You create your x-axis and your y-axis. Your x-axis, we have time. Our x-axis or x-axis is time. Our y-axis is cumulative frequency. You create your scale, 15 to 75, because there is no thing below 15 minutes. So you can start at 15 to 75, and 0 to 85, or 0 to 90, because you're going to by 10. You plot your points and you join the points with your freehand and you have your O drive. Now, if you are doing this manually, just like how I did it there, you can do it manually. Take a picture and download it and paste it on your worksheet, or you can use one of the links, okay? The YouTube that is there, that I put there, giving you the links, showing you how to use those links to construct the graph. So with those points, for example, in GeoGebra, you can put those points and it can generate the graph for you, okay? So you can explore that option for your cumulative frequency graph.